Okay, people. Welcome back. We're here again with another episode of 100 to 1. Just the two of us today. So we got myself, Rose, aka the Blue Badge King, and who have I got alongside me?
What's your boy Nams? Arsenal all day, every day.
Yeah, No's back from I took the week off last week. We're back again. The journey continues. Season continues, and yeah, let's try and get this money, people.
Always.
So, yeah, I mean, we missed you on the pod last week. How's it been going in the efforts to chase down the Christmas bonus?
Wait, no brand envelope yet over this side, like man. But usual man. I've been doing obviously. I think I've been pivoting more towards the shots over the past few weeks. I've been doing it. There's one that I do on 365 and another that I do on Paddy. The one on Paddy is in each half. So for a player to get a shot in each half, that's been kind of hit and miss. But the one on 365 has just been for a player to get over 1.5 shots, basically, which is probably easier but less odds. But I think one thing that always messes up this bet is guys getting taken off. So like I've seen a pattern, especially when you're dealing with Aston Villa and that Watkins-Duran situation, man. There's no point.
Weeks ago, bro. You can't.
Yeah, there's no point.
You got Watkins has got 10 minutes, 15 minutes, second half of bet.
Every week, bruv. I think I had him in one last week, bruv. Going to plan, bruv. I came back, but I see an X, like, I think, what's going on, like? You got taken off for Duran, like, I was thinking.
Exactly.
Aston Villa problem. If anything, Morgan Rogers is the one to go for. He probably pays.
Morgan Rogers is always my guy on the shot in each half. And he always delivers as well. Like,
The thing is, he dipped for a little while, but now I've seen his stats. Like last 3 games, he's been letting it go like 3 shots in each game.
So I think he's generally generous
better as well. Better as well. And for me as well, what I like is with this. Obviously, everyone is bait to go for strikers or whatever, but I always like going for the wingers that cut in. So ideally, inverted wingers or folks who play that cam role. And Morgan Rogers is perfect for that. So when they play that cam role or attacking midfield role, they're letting it off, like, or they're gonna get in positions to let off shots in it, like. So we go again, we continue, but yeah, man, shots is what I'm kind of focused on right now.
I haven't done the shots for a few weeks, but yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it before. It's my similar approach. Like the thing is, as you said, you have to consider certain players that will be substituted. So Aston Villa have a unique situation, but most teams, the most substituted players are frontmen, defenders, rarely touched. And then unless you have frontmen that are established to a certain level in a team, so like Mohamed Salah will not get substituted. But if you're talking about a team like, say, Arsenal, at the moment you have Bukayo Saka, but anybody else is like just much of a muchness rotation. So people are not going to get 90 minutes. People like, if I see Gabriel Jesus start, he's probably going to come off. In terms of who are the players likely to be withdrawn, be replaced for Trossard. Trossard will be replaced at some stage. These are the players like, okay, Saka is like, okay, the leading forward. So it's like, okay, he will stay. But they're all much of a muchness. Like, okay, Garnacho come out for Rashford. Rashford come out for Garnacho. So when you're looking for them to get shots in each half, it's difficult. Whereas, for example, somebody like Bruno is like, okay, 90 minutes, for example.
Always.
Those types of players that are still kind of haven't really nailed down a permanent position, then, you know, it's like everybody kind of gets a go and they're in the rotation pool. So that's
always my thinking.
And also, like, you know, with other positions as well. I mean, for me, I'm a believer where possible of trying to shrink the slip wherever you can. So, you know, like when I used to do the shots, for example, I had a lot of joy on players like Casemiro and stuff. And sometimes you have to be bold and just think if it's going to win, it's going to win, rather than, because I feel like you're more likely to land maybe a Casemiro than at 7 to 1 than 4 3 to 5s, for example. If you can swap 4 3 to 5s and put one Casemiro in, then go for it. Like one of them will go wrong, one of them will get subbed. So that's my approach. But yeah, just with me anyway, I've moved away from the shots. I've just decided to, you know, sort of dedicate my resources more exclusively to my sort of match result handicap coupons, which, you know, obviously, as we know, I won money off of 2 bets a couple of weeks ago, and generally, yeah, it's been the same since then. Like if I miss, it's not by much. Last night, 2 goals cost me. I think I did a tenfold. That would have got me like 4K, 720 to 1. I'll read through the slip quickly. I had Fiorentina -1. Again, this is what I talk about shrinking the slip. Fiorentina 7-0. And it's like
7-0.
yeah, and on a bolder game, like because I do that. So before when I started this handicap team, I do -3s. It's like I'd rather take out 3 games.
Yeah.
And go -3. But yeah, because Fiorentina won -1, and it's such a fine art, this thing, because I had Betis match result and they won 1-0. Like you get the handicap on that, it's done. So they just won 1-0. That came in Betis. I did Lyon and Frankfurt, so I mixed that up. I did both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. That came in. That also came in as both teams to score in both halves, which I also considered. I had Maccabi Tel Aviv to beat Riga's Football Scholar, that won 2-1. So again, it's about picking the ones to stay away from the handicap as well. And that was like I got that right with that one. I had Sociedad -1 against Kiev. They won 3-0. Again, so technically a -2 would have worked on that, but still, -1. Oh gosh. The big one that I did was Anderlecht. I saw that one coming. Anderlecht, I had their match result against Slavia Prague. That was an 11-2.
Oh wow.
They're away from home. Anderlecht won 2-1. So I brought that one in. I even thought about going -1 on them, and that was like I think 15 or something to 1 or something like that. But basically, they won 2-1 in the end, so that would have lost. But they did go 2-0 up, and I started to think I should have been greedy with a -1. But anyway, that didn't come through. I had my guys Bodo Glimt. Both teams had scored 2.5 against Besiktas. That was a 2-1. I had Vitoria Guimarães against St. Gallen, just match result. And they won 4-1. And I did consider again a -1 on that. And this is the detail that with experience, you learn to pick them properly. So what happened? They all came in. The 2 that didn't come in, I had Galatasaray Malmo, Galatasaray match result. Game ended 2-2. Malmo equalized in the 92nd minute.
Flipping hell, man.
And
Jeez.
then another one, I had Hoffenheim at home to Football Club FCSB or whatever they are. That game ended 0-0.
Remaining guys.
Yeah, Hoffenheim missed a lot of chances, but yeah, that was it.
They're usually money at home, Hoffenheim, man.
Hoffenheim at home. I thought, you know what? No match result. Just go. It was the odds was the bookies fancied them. It was a 4-7 selection. Hoffenheim find a goal. Malmo don't get that last minute equalizer. That bet comes in.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
10. Even I think the day before Champions League night, I had one that mixed up the games a little bit. So I had some from like Wednesday and Thursday. So I look at the ones that lost. So the same one, Galatasaray one, that was lost last minute. I had Milan -1, and they won 2-1 against Red Star at home.
That should have been a clean sheet, really. Yeah,
should have been. Again, they were very dominant, had 10 shots on target. 10 shots on target, basically. Then what else? And then I had Chelsea -2 against Astana, and that came through as a -1. Yes. They were winning 3-0, but they conceded 1, and that was that. So that was like another one from the day before, and then the others came in. Fiorentina match result again. That was 7-0. Could have gone a lot bigger on that, and that was just match result. I had West Brom plus against Coventry, West Brom +1, which is, as I call it, leave with something. So that's my leave. So I got slipped for that as well. So basically, they won 2-0, and I fancied West Brom, but I'm always a bit skeptical about the Championship. So I thought, at least they're going to lose. But it's about shrinking the slip and being brave, because you could have dropped some of these games out. You go West Brom -1, for example, that'll help you take out a few selections.
It takes it to a different level, bro.
But then I had Watford to leave with something against Hull, and that was a 1-1 draw. So that one was the right call there, and it's just the final art. Sheffield United, I fancied them against Millwall, but I had them just to leave with something, and they won. So again, if I got match result, then maybe I had Aston Villa women match result against Charlton Athletic, which I fancied, but they won 4-1. But I knew I should have gone handicap on that one. But I didn't. But then again, I had Spurs women -1 against Palace women, and they won 2-0. So it was just exactly right. And then I had Lille against Sturm Graz, who they put me through it. They won 3-2 in the end.
Yeah.
But that cancelled a few slips because obviously there was I had -1 on some other slips with that. But obviously I didn't come through. But yeah, generally I'm hitting 70 to 80%. Generally. So
ratio.
not too bad.
I hear it. I hear the rationale, to be honest with you. I hear it.
Yeah. So it's a fine art. Hold on. All right. Well, I think that concludes sort of last week's stuff. So let's move on to the next section. Okay. So I'll leave the gap. What I'll do is I'll leave a little gap here. I'll get Rex to put that banner in because I can't even find that banner. And then we'll just move on. So he'll put it in this week, cut it out.
Cool.
So yeah, so moving back into the world of football, I feel like the topics are pretty much recurring over the recent weeks. A lot of I think the story of the season doesn't shift from week to week, but maybe from sort of month to month and stuff like that. And at the moment, obviously, the biggest story, at least on these shores, or the biggest trend, is of course the form of Manchester City, and that's continued. So they had a terrible November, and I think most people expect in every game that we'll expect that they'll win this one and they'll start turning it around, and everybody's still surprised when the run continues. And after obviously they found a win against Forest in the midst of that, and the expectation would have been this is it, they'll start winning games again, but they haven't. Normally I would have backed them to win against Juve, but I thought but I just didn't feel strong enough to go for Juve. I did consider going for Juve. I slipped. I really considered that. Again, Juve and a -1 would have been fantastic odds, which come through. So basically, what's your views? What is the problem? What's going wrong at City?
Yeah, obviously, big situation. Obviously, Rodri being out, it's the most simplified way to kind of put it. But I just think that over the past few years, what Man City have done is there's been gross negligence in terms of how they recruited, and in terms of their succession planning for some of the players that they have. And if we're being totally honest, like, they've been creaking for the past 2 seasons, but my boys couldn't get the job done. Like, if we really deep it, like, for the past 2 seasons.
No, to be.
They've been creaking, but okay, last year they did.
They're creaking, but they haven't. They've been putting up near enough 100 points. So that, in terms of it's just Arsenal who ain't finished off their dinner. I think that is a stretch, because basically, if they were winning it on 78 points, and it's no one else was good enough, Arsenal still pushed them to hit. I mean, last year it was 90 points, but the year before it was still late.
Little signs.
I agree with you. I thought that Arsenal have been better. But I'm saying this as a devil's advocate. And City's they will say that they're putting up. It's still putting up huge points totals.
100%. Last season they made us do something that they made the margin so fine that one half against Aston Villa cost us the whole title. So yeah, in that sense, they were still putting up numbers. But both of those teams had Rodri in it, and we've never seen Man City without Rodri for a long period of time, basically. And what we're seeing right now is looking scary. It's looking so scary, and I feel like Pep's philosophy and his inability to kind of maybe tailor things and adapt, he's been very stubborn in how he's playing, and he's playing in midfield primarily of Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne, all fantastic technical players. None of them can run, literally none of them can run. So any team against Crystal Palace, for me, they were never winning that game. For me, it was always going to be a draw or Crystal Palace win. Juventus have stunk the place out this season, but they were always getting a draw or winning for me. Man City were not winning. And if they keep on playing that midfield, they're not going to win many games. I can't see them going on a winning their usual winning streak of 10 games or 12 games or whatnot. However, this weekend, I think Kovacic is back. And in saying that, I actually think Kovacic has been one of their best midfielders this season. He has got somewhat a bit of legs, can carry the ball, can somewhat kind of dictate a little bit the pace of the game. So I think they've got a better chance of him when he comes back into the team. Like, but in general, I just feel like just the midfield, like they just don't have the legs. Like Rodri is a massive, massive miss. Like he's the one real man that they have in that midfield who not only has a technical ability to control a game, but has a physical presence to get around, like man, stop attacks from even starting, and they're just missing that. Right now, teams just literally running straight through their midfield. Like, I saw a clip of Gundogan the other day running back. Come on, the guy's like 33, 34. He hasn't got the legs in him no more. Bernardo Silva's not like that. Like if we go back a couple of weeks to the game at Anfield, Liverpool, I've never seen a game where Man City looked like little boys. Like Liverpool it was literally men against boys that game. Liverpool just literally showed them no respect and just ran past their midfield. In that first half, it should have been 3 or 4-0, literally. How Man City got away with like a 2, was it 2-0 or was it 1-0 in the end? 2-0, right? Yeah, 2-0. Yeah, 2-0. Should have been at least 4 or 5 in that first half. And it was probably the easiest game Liverpool have ever played against Man City at Anfield. Now. So for me, the midfield is a real big issue. I can't see them going on any kind of 10-game unbeaten run. I do expect an uptick in performance now Kovacic is back, because I think he does make a massive difference. But in terms of the consistent levels and numbers that they've set in the past 2 years, I can't see it. And me personally, I think they could struggle for Champions League football this year, man. I think they could struggle for top 4 if they carry on the way they are. So,
something I always say, like, people talk about, so often when people talk about the transfer market, for example, and I relate it to my team, and people would say, generally the players that we're in for, the conversation is, okay, maybe Real Madrid or Bayern or whoever are looking at them. And a lot of the conversation people always say is, yeah, but you go to United, man, maybe you ain't guaranteed Champions League football. I'm like, listen, if you want to be guaranteed Champions League football, don't come to England. I said this on this podcast probably more than a year ago, a couple of years. At that time, I think the numbers were different. I think I said factors 5 into 4 doesn't go. And now it's more than that. It's about 6 or something. Like, there are genuine teams, that have genuine expectation to finish in the top 4. And there's more than 4 of them. So, and that covers anybody, like including City. City have made it most seasons, but I remember they've made it in 4th place at once, I believe, when Solskjaer was about. They've made, like, it's not. And obviously, the other teams are improving. Spurs are falling off yet, for example, but they're amongst the group that not necessarily they would have fallen off. In a given season, Spurs could be like, yeah, we're in it fighting for top 4. Chelsea are in it. Manchester United in it. So your connection, or maybe it's mine that's a little bit off. You're frozen. Still frozen. Oh gosh. Let me just give it a second, see if you will unfreeze. If not,
the point is the far.
Yeah, it's still okay. Coming back now.
Yeah, it's my side.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, obviously you got City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, I would say, and Spurs. Are teams that start every season with an expectation that we're going to at least try and finish in the top 4, and not all of them can make it into the top 4. And then in addition to that, you have the Newcastle's, Villas, and then maybe a wild card Brighton who say, we want to get in it as well. So, but even just that traditional big 6, you can't say City are guaranteed. Like, the only way to guarantee the top 4 finish is to be in a title race. That's the only way. You cannot be aiming to finish in the Champions League. You have to be fighting to win the Premier League. And if you lose it on the last day or whatever, if you're in it and you're in a title race, then you will qualify for the Champions League. You're either going to finish 1st or 2nd or whatever, maybe 3rd. But if you're fighting for the Champions League, it's incredibly risky. And City at risk of being out of the title conversation. And once you fall out of the title conversation, then you're now just in that group, and there's no guarantee at all in that group. After that, you need to be fighting for the title.
Even in the Champions League as well, bro. Like the next game against PSG is pretty much like if PSG beat them, there's a high chance that probably a 60 or 70% chance that City are not going to qualify and that's it.
PSG can't beat them, man.
I think PSG are soft as well, but you never know, bro.
PSG is the easiest money you make generally in the Champions League against
Yeah,
any decent team. They're
yeah,
not going to win that. They're
yeah.
not going to beat a good team really in the
Nah,
Champions League. They're
midfield's too
not.
small. Nah, they
Like
don't.
they'll beat the small newcomers and stuff, the newcomers just about. But any, we talk about heritage and that is what they suffer. They just not made of that stuff. They can win in France. They can't win. Like I won't back them to go and beat a team like, Leipzig or Dortmund, even, let
Yeah,
alone the
no
big,
chance.
like they haven't got they'll find a way
Yeah.
to not win it,
Mm,
basically. So I can't see PSG beating City. City have actually won the Champions League before, so I just think that they have a lot more nous in that tournament. The form is irrelevant. Even if PSG come off the pitch having deserved to win it, I'm
yeah,
certain
they
that they
still.
won't win
It's true.
it. So, but yeah, obviously they're struggling in the Champions League. But you look at, as I was saying, in the Premier League. I mean, you look at Liverpool now. But any given season, for example, you started the season thinking they'll do well to qualify for the Champions League. In recent seasons, they've had seasons where they've not qualified for the Champions League. They got back. So this is what I'm saying. There's no guarantee. You come to Liverpool thinking, oh, at least a guaranteed Champions League football. You're not. They're going to make it this year, but they might not make it next year.
Yeah, sure.
You know, United probably won't finish in top 4 this year, but it has no bearing on whether they will next year. Like they might do. It might be second. Like they might. It's just their Premier League. So I feel like that guarantee of Champions League football is a myth in the Premier League. Basically, is a myth in the Premier League. But the squad is aging as well. I think I feel like in every department you got Kyle Walker's losing his powers. I think that he's been directly responsible for at least 50% of the goals that they've conceded in this run.
Yeah.
And it's ironic because he's done the most of this throughout this whole run about how the standards are not acceptable. And I'm like, bro, it's literally you.
It's deflection, bro.
You leaving your man all the time.
It's deflection, bro.
The goals are actually your fault. Like I'll go back to Spurs. You look at the Madison's first goal, or certainly the second one where he chipped over the keeper. Where was Walker? Walker was miles behind him. You look at the fourth goal. Timo Werner burned him completely. You go back to Anfield, sleeping on the job for Gakpo to get in behind him. And these are the ones I can remember. There's definitely been more. Like he's the one that's actually responsible. And I know, as I said it many times, I know Pep doesn't like him.
Don't like him, man. He don't like him.
Doesn't like him.
You know that.
And if he starts losing his superhuman speed, he's done at sea.
Yeah,
Pep will get rid of him immediately.
But his understudy in this fraud, Rico Lewis, brother. Bruv, I ain't gonna lie to you, bruv. Yeah, Rico Lewis, the way he just got ragdolled at Soho's pass last week, bruv. They just chucked him around like he's physically not strong enough. Like he's not ready for this level, bruv. Like, man.
When he got sent off last week, I was gutted, bruv, man. I was thinking, is this guy at the derby? I thought at least if I wanted Rico Lewis, like.
Oh yeah, he's not gonna crazy.
I need him in that team because I feel like whoever they bring in, whether some sort of Ake or whoever, like it's just going to be a bigger. It's going to be an uptick. Like I wanted Rico Lewis. Heaven forbid they put him in that midfield. I'd be licking my lips, like. So that's going to be a disappointment for me that he was actually suspended. But yeah, I mean, on top of this, he's got no clear position as well. Is he even a right back? Is he a left back? Is he a central midfielder? He's just there, runs around basically. I feel like his development, because even you look at it from an England perspective, as an England manager, what position are you looking? If you're trying to build your squad, okay, my left backs. You look at he's not really. Does he even play there? Do we now think, okay, when I'm thinking of my right backs, you look at the guys that are playing right back, he doesn't really fit. He just doesn't have.
He ain't got no powerful right back, no chance.
He might be picked, as a sort of 23rd man to say, okay, he can put him in
somewhere.
Yeah, he can like cover multiple roles. But like if I'm thinking trying to build who are my right backs? He doesn't really play in any position enough for him to be in my thinking in that respect. All right, connection's playing up again.
This version I've got is terrible. Like, am I back?
Yeah. Back.
The reason people rate him is just simply pet PR, bro. That's it.
Yeah,
It's
and I
PR.
think there's Pep PR and there's the Philip Lahm comparisons, and Philip
Yeah.
Lahm is I guess the template of what he's supposed to be, and obviously that has been done successfully. So it's like, he's like Philip Lahm.
Mm. I just think that when he burst into the scene and Pep was like, "Oh, Rico is so good. He can invert and
Best young
play."
player I've ever seen.
Yeah,
These
yeah,
types of
yeah,
things. Best young
he
player
can
I've
play
ever
in the
worked with.
world. And then obviously, the basic guys like Jamie Redknapp. Oh yeah, Rico is so blah blah. Bro, that is literally all. That's the only reason we rate him, because Pep said he sees the game. He's so intelligent. Now there's some, and this is why I rate my boy Saka, bro, so much, bro. Because when adversity comes, bro, and it's not just champagne football. Phil Foden can come into the Man City team when he wants and do what he wants. If he has a bad game, doesn't matter. It's never, the eyes are never on him. Like when it's got to be you're the main man, bro. Carry this team on your back. Rico Lewis, carry this team on your back. These men never really show up like, man. So for
I
me,
think Pep has failed him.
I think
The
so.
biggest issue is that he doesn't have a position.
Yeah.
Like it's too young to not because he's developing. He should be developing somewhere, even if you can plug other gaps. But what's his primary position? Doesn't really have one. And that's not helping him. I don't think. He's still a teenager.
Yeah. He needs to. He can't start the game being a utility player. He's got to be a specialist.
You know what I'm saying? That's what.
Nah,
you need a specialist position that first and foremost. And I don't even know what it is. Right back, is it left back? Is it? I don't know what he is.
He's a bit like Maitland-Niles, who's obviously now. I think he's now at Lyon. I think he plays right back at Lyon now. I don't even know.
I see him in midfield sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He started Arsenal as a left back.
He was I think originally though coming through as a midfielder.
Right back. Originally he was a midfielder, but I think at Arsenal he played right back for a bit, then left back in the 3-5-2 formation, and then he just started becoming a utility player.
Oh gosh, connection again. Oh gosh. You're frozen again. I'm sure you'll come back in a second. But I think, for the benefit of the recording, we've kind of
and now we've got to Lyon.
You're still frozen. But yeah, for the benefit of recording, pretty much summarised the woes of City. The derby's coming up this weekend. We don't know what to expect from Manchester United either. But I know that they can take something. Who knows? This game could literally be one of anything. I would be staying away from that game from a betting perspective. Just watch the game, enjoy the game. I don't know what to. Yeah, you're back.
I think for me, what I want to see is, I want to see Amarin be brave. Like you can see these men are there for the taking. And I get why you did what you did at Emirates, innit? You did a fantastic defensive game. I totally get it. For me, I want to see Amarin be brave with this team. Like I saw your game yesterday against Victoria Pilsen or whatever, and I think he's finally realized that Ahmad is your best right 10. Like Ahmad should be as close as goal as possible. Like I'm saying, he's got the real quality. Like so, I
don't think I agree with that, but I don't think him playing him at wing back is necessarily negative because he didn't play him. He didn't play him. That was the problem.
No, that's not a bad thing. I just want to see Ahmad closer to goal early on, basically. Like you know what I'm saying.
I agree. I would like to see him there eventually, but at the moment, because if you take him out of that 10, then you have to put somebody into that 10. So, and if you take him right, like the wing backs are not really there in terms of offensive threat. Like, so what happens is,
I think Anthony might be all right in that position.
Essentially. But like if I look at the lineup yesterday, I didn't like it. I said it on the online when the lineup was announced, because there were 5 defenders. We had a left back at left wing back, Malacia, and a right back at right back. So you have 5 defenders and a defensive midfielder. So you play Ahmad as a 10, then you kind of have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to play, and what I would rather he play Ahmad right wing back, and I will go for City. I'll play Garnacho left wing back. And I feel that we should step on them. Play Casemiro and Agate, both of them in the middle, right? Let them 2 go at wing back. We don't need a defender there. I think play 3 centre backs, 2 DMs, and then let the rest go. I'll put Casemiro and Agate, then I'll put Fernandez and I'll put Meno. Both as the 10s on Sunday. I feel that Meno, we need someone that can keep hold of the ball as well. But I don't want him in that deeper 2 in that game.
He hasn't tried it yet, though. We haven't seen Meno in that position.
That would be my, we didn't see Ahmad as a 10 until yesterday as well.
True.
Obviously, away at the Emirates, so he might try and do something different. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I won't be betting on it. And just so I think that will cover that. Let's move on to this week's bets, because time is limited at the moment.
Yeah.
So have you got anything cooked up yet?
Nah, not yet. But for me, it's going to be shots. It's going to be shots all the way, man. I've already looked at the games. So I think for me, the Leicester Ipswich, no, not Leicester Ipswich. Who is it? Wolves Ipswich game for me is probably going to be Cunha and Delap shot in each half. Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa is going to be probably Gibbs White, and I'm going to go Morgan Rogers. I think that's a good shot. Him shot in each half, and his odds are always decent as well, as you said. And I like the spaces that he takes up. Then Brighton on Sunday against Crystal Palace is going to be João Pedro and Eze shot in each half. Then I'll avoid the Man United game. We'll probably go straight to the Tottenham game, because I think it's going to be an open game, and I fancy Southampton to probably get something, So
I agree with that.
I think I'm gonna make a big call for this one. I was gonna go. It's gonna be for Tottenham. It's gonna be Solanke shot in each half, or either Son. I'll decide.
I was gonna
go.
Huh? I like Cameron Archer.
I was gonna go with Archer, but you know what? This midfielder Fernandez, man, I've been seeing him. He gets a couple shots each game, bruv, and he gets in good positions, and he's just reckless with it. And he's like, when I looked, I think he's like 5-1 or 4-1, a shot in each half. So you know what? I'm gonna risk it, man. I'm gonna put him in there.
That's it. You adopted my philosophy.
You gotta risk it. I'm gonna risk it, bruv. I can just see him.
It's like, after all, it's like, are we betting? We're gambling.
Might as well. We're
gambling. Like, we're not. It's not. There's science, but like, end of the day, when it's all said and done, bruv, we're gambling. So
100%.
Do it. Like I said, I went for an 11-2 yesterday, and I brought that in. So it's like, I just thought, I think Anderlecht gonna win.
Might as well go for it. At the end of the day, if we chose the same players that bang each week, and we'd all be rich in it, like, so there's going to be some,
exactly.
somewhere. So yeah, I'm going to go for Fernandez, man. I'm going to go for Fernandez. And then Monday for me, I think there's going to be a lot of shots in that game. It's just which two players I pick, but I'm probably going to go for it's Bournemouth against West Ham. I'll probably go I'm leaning towards Semenyo. I have been choosing Evan Nilsson recently, but to be honest with you, both of them will bang. But I'll just go for Semenyo, and I'll pick my boy Kudus. Kudus always lets it go any angle. So yeah, that's going to be my fivefold. I think it's probably going to be around maybe 500-600 to 1, something like that, or maybe even 700 to 1. But that's going to be my main play.
For me, for the weekend, so what I like to do generally, I'll go through the games and I'll make multiple slips. So first of all, I make my master slip. So I just literally any game that I like, I'll put it on there. If it comes up to 15-fold, I don't care. Then I'll work back from there. So if I think I like this game, I think this. I don't. So when my first run through, I don't try and be too strict on take this one, take that one out. Now I try to make. If I see it, if that happens to be 10, if that happens to be 14, if that happens to be whatever, I put all of them. There's always that slip I always make. Anything I like the look of, and then I refine it and refine it and refine it and refine it. So then I end up with like 6-7 slips maybe. So I'll just go through the most refined. So, because again, I'm talking about shrinking the slip, because sometimes I've realized that trying to overdo sometimes the long slips, I'll get some of them a -1, some of them will hit 6-0, some of the others. So I just think, you know what, try and really, really just look for the higher odds. But, so I've gone for a couple fivefolds basically, which the games that I've picked, I'll start with the most basic one. Let me find it even first of all. So I've gone Chelsea women. Basically, I've gone for one, which is Chelsea women away to Leicester women. I've gone -2 Chelsea women. I've gone Bristol playing QPR. I fancy QPR to win that game, and I just thought, they could win it by more than one as well. Like, why not? So -1 QPR, that's 10-1. I got them on that slip.
10-1.
10-1. Sheffield Wednesday, there's some good odds going about. I said, no, I can see it like happening. Sheffield Wednesday away to Oxford, I've gone Sheffield Wednesday -1. That's a 4-1. I've gone Sheffield United at home to Plymouth. I've gone Sheffield United -2. Every game I keep thinking, but surely this is the last game that Plymouth are going to get battered again. Like, so I think, look, let me. So I feel like, No, man, I missed it. I feel like they lost 6-0, so obviously gonna be a reaction. They lose the next one 4-5 now. I think I should have. So I just thought, nah.
I get the money
Sheffield
changed. I
United,
hear it still.
Sheffield United are one of the strongest teams out there. There's a few teams you think, okay, these are like Premier League type of clubs. They're class above most teams. They're playing at home. Plymouth are terrible. I've gone Sheffield United -2 at home to Plymouth. That's a 2-1. Again, this is another one of that nature. They've come through for me 3 weeks in a row. And you always think, I'm getting greedy. They can't do it again, but then you take it out, and So I'll go on Spezia -1 against Sampdoria. Spezia, they don't let me sweat at all. When I go -1 Spezia, I say we'll give you 5, just so you can just go easy, rest easily. Basically, we'll give you 3, we'll give you 5s. That was the last 2 weeks, so that's a 5-1. That game. So basically, that's a 5-fold. Chelsea, QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United, and Spezia, and that's 1,709 to 1.
I hear it.
And I feel like I could just think, and I have got slips where I'm like, and I've shortened the odds, and I've taken out the -2s to put them to -1, and I've gone -1s, turned them into match results, and basically added other games, and sometimes it's the 12, the 5 will just win. Just the 5-fold will win. The 12, the 10-fold, the 9-fold won't. Even the 7-fold might not, because one of these ones, the one that I lost yesterday, for example, it was a 4-7, like Hoffenheim to win at home. So you're better off here going Fiorentina -3 than just adding more games. So sometimes I just feel for this slip, be bold, be big, be brave. So that's what I've done. So I picked 5 games, but there are other slips basically with these same 5 games, and I've kind of fleshed them out. I've reduced the jeopardy on individual selections, added more, and played it a bit more safe. So those are some of the games I'm looking at.
Cool. We'll and is that you gonna post on the Twitter for the people to follow as well?
Yeah, I'll post that on the Twitter. I'll post that on there for sure. So I think we should put probably at least one of each ones up there every week, like a handicap and a shot one. It's difficult to put every single bet that we do on there, but I think we should at least do one of each type.
Yeah.
And another thing I'm keeping my eye on, by the way, it hasn't gone too well this week, but while I've been chasing my handicaps and I've just been watching how things are going, I think I'm going to go back to this goal in each half on 3 corners as well. Because sometimes when I'm chasing something, I'm seeing the other thing in the background.
Yeah, it's true.
I forgot about you. I'm seeing this in the background, like these 7-0s, and I just look, 10 corners to 2. I've been seeing it for too many weeks now. I might just come back to you as well. So,
I hear it, but all the time, but I'm like, I think about it sometimes. I'm thinking, I've been done that. I've been seeing it happen every week. Like, what's going on? Like, it's hard to stand up with everything, like, but sometimes
you can't stand up with everything. I said, but this game is so. This is why we get it all comes together perfectly, like once, twice, maybe in a season, 3 times.
Yeah.
Because so much detail, brother. You're chasing it, and it's like this is a full-time, a real commitment, bro.
I hear it.
Yeah. So those are my games, man. So we'll put them up on the Twitter. And hopefully we'll get something this weekend. Okay. So anyway, guys, thanks for sticking with us. We'll be posting these up. Get on the bets with us. Let's try and get some money. Still in plenty of time left to get our Christmas bonuses. So that's what we're chasing.
100%. Take care, people.
Take care. Leave it there, guys. So I'll do my son. I'll let Rex put this in there. Anyway, I'll let Rex put it in there.
Say no more.
Hey, bro, go in there anyway. Like.
I got back, I'll shout you there.
That's it.
Good, man.